What's going on, everybody? This is Raw Dawg Sports. I am Mike. That is Evo. Slap at the biz. And we are going to recap week 3 of the NFL. It was not a great week in terms of our picks. And to the people, I want to tell you that we apologize for that. We like to have good weeks. This was not our best, not a banger. If you followed us over on any of the socials, you might have seen that there was still some money made, depending on what you followed, but it was not a banger week in terms of all the picks. But before we start diving into all of that, let me bring my guy in here. Evo, brother, how you doing? Long weekend of football. Our teams both get dubs. Huge dubs. I was not expecting necessarily either one of them. I know you went with your Vikings, but man, it feels good. How you doing on this victory? What fucking day is it? Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm doing good, brother. It was a fun weekend of football. Kind of a wild week 3 there in general. I mean, wild because like a lot of the picks, we didn't have our best week as far as picks. But that being said, there was a lot of really spectacular football played. Like some wild stuff happened. It was a week of special teams returns, blocked field goals that were significant in the game, big time game changing plays, a lot of fun to watch, some good matchups. And while, for the show's purposes and getting the picks right, that didn't go great. We had a lot of good things happen on Sunday for our teams. We had some cool events. I had a fantastic week of fantasy football.
Same.
Didn't bring up last week. Had a fantastic week that week too. Don't want to put Mike down too much, but might have.
Yeah, you got me.
Laid the hammer there.
Yeah.
So rolling pretty well. Happy with that. But yeah, having a whole lot of fun with the football season so far. Put a nice long post out there on X as far as like the lessons that we learned at the end of Sunday about these teams, because again, we've talked about this before. Week 1 and 2, you kind of start to feel out who the teams are. Week 3, you start to actually get a little bit more of a solid idea of what these teams are this year. Obviously, things can change because of injuries and stuff like that. Major stuff has happened to teams like the Bengals. That you lose your star quarterback. We're going to talk tonight about CeeDee Lamb going down for a while. We have our annual Mike Evans hamstring injury and how that's going to affect Buccaneers going forward. So a lot of interest and stuff from this week of football. Can't wait for this upcoming week of football, which of course we'll talk about our Thursday night game here in a little bit. But beforehand, we got to pay the bills. Got to do our ad read of the week. So this is just another episode of cease and desist or sponsorship. And this week's episode of Raw Dawg Sports is actually brought to you by CBS. So recently, CBS has come under a lot of heat due to pulling certain programming off of the air. Some might say that there could have been government influence with this. Some might believe that CBS was wrong to so abruptly make a decision to pull a broadcast off the air. And some might have serious concerns about things like politics getting involved in what's on your TV screens. Well, CBS is here to apologize. They're profoundly sorry for their mistake in pulling the broadcast coverage of the Bengals-Vikings game off of the air and switching it to the Patriots and Steelers game because the Vikings were absolutely skull-fucking the Bengals, and the Pittsburgh-New England game was somehow more competitive. We understand that there was actually a moment there where they were stealing happiness and pride from Vikings fans from around the world, and they forced them to watch two teams with about as much hope to get in the playoffs as Jimmy Kimmel has to be shown on any ABC affiliates in the near future. Now, we at CBS truly don't want to be lumped in with any of those other lesser 3-letter television stations. We, however, would like to be a little bit more like Fox, where we could let our broadcasters sound a little bit more like Troy Aikman, talking about Dan Campbell's onions at the end of a broadcast. And don't worry, we are asking Tony Romo to be a little bit more edgy every week, but he just wants to talk about ball, which is weird on a sports broadcast. Anyways, CBS, no bullshit, no political drama, just piss poor attempts at doing a retro week. Thanks for sponsoring us today, CBS.
Thanks, CBS. Shout out to CBS. CBS is not actually a sponsor of this program, or probably will never be a sponsor of any of our programs. But
if they want to pick us up,
I mean, listen, ESPN's got Pat. Fox has Portnoy. CBS, we're available. We're a couple of fucking bro assholes that will do crazy things on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I will do the Pat McAfee and get in a Speedo. I will shove a cucumber or two or something like this in my shorts, and I will jump off whatever diving boards you want. I mean, it'd be great.
Good on Pat, though, making sure he kept the hog hidden from national TV.
Yeah. I saw how people were like, oh, can you believe that he adjusted? Yeah, as a dude. Yeah. I absolutely.
He just ran across campus with a Speedo on underneath.
Yeah.
A lot of things happened while he was running.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good on him, though. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, the pre-game shows for college sports on Saturdays, I don't know if they've been better. I mean, we lose Corso because he retires, but I think things almost got better. They're carrying that torch forward. So pretty awesome to see.
I don't know about better. Now listen, big fan of Barstool. Dave Portnoy, I like him. But I don't know if you've seen any of the things that have come off of Big Noon Kickoff, but he is just playing the crowd. Brother, the most impressive team in the country is not the Utah motherfucking Utes. And when he said it, I was like, Pat, I'm not Pat. Fucking Dave. Why are you saying shit like that?
It's entertaining. It gets the fans going.
No. I guess. I mean, yeah, I got the crowd going for sure.
It's obvious it's not the Utes. It's such a obviously false statement.
By tech.
Yeah. It's such a false statement that it makes a little bit of a mockery of things, especially of other news outlets like The Athletic, Diana Rossini, fucking Colin Cowherd, where they actually believe those fucking idiotic takes and try to pawn them off on you, basically calling the fans fucking stupid. Shame on them. Excuse me. That was a previous ad read. Man. Suck my dick from the back, though. Yeah. I think
let's give a couple of legit shout outs right here. KFC, thanks for reposting the stream, brother. And also we got friend of the show, Robert Schwank, checking in. Man, Robert, hope you're doing well, brother. He's not doing the IW stuff. He's not the lead anymore out here. So I hope he's doing well, and I'm glad you're hopped in here, man. Evo. What do we got? We got anything else before we want to start breaking down some of these games? So talk about what the fuck we saw, because there's a lot of things to go over.
Yeah. So we have to be completely 100% honest. We are raw with our takes here, and we are raw about when we are wrong. And we were not right too often with our picks this last week. Mike, you went 6-10. I went 8-8. So technically 500 for me. Like I'll take that as a bad week. Hopefully that's our low bar. But overall on the year, still we are sitting in the positive, looking pretty good there. You got 56.2. I got 68.7 for my correct pick percentages there. But look, there was a lot of close games, a lot of tough games, a lot of weird ones. Atlanta getting shut out and having to bring in Kirk Cousins. I didn't have that on my bingo card, nor did I have, I had my Vikings winning, but I didn't have them absolutely again skull fucking the Panthers, or excuse me, the Bengals on this one.
Yeah.
It was rough. We saw a lot of big scores here this week. Seattle put up a whole bunch. We had Indianapolis putting up 41 versus Tennessee. I mean, some of these were done against some bad teams, but still, like, big scores here in week 3.
I mean, Chicago put up 31 points again on Dallas. So, oh man, yeah, a lot of tough games, a lot of upsets, I would say, and honestly, a couple of bad beats. That Rams game, that is one of the worst beats I think I've ever had, dude. Like, even if the Rams miss that kick, 2.5 hits, they either win and I'm good, or they miss and I'm good.
Yeah,
it was insane. And this shit, the block kick that goes back, the biggest motherfucker in the NFL gets through, blocks it, retrieves it, and runs it in for one of the worst beats you could possibly imagine. I was like, wow. I knew my morning was just fucked. I was like, well, that's tough.
Yeah. A lot of tough beats for us here, but we'll get into each of these games and our thoughts on everything that's going on here as we run through week 3 in the NFL. So we already talked about our Thursday night game. We already know Bills are good, Dolphins are bad. Mike McDaniel, I mean, they showed a little bit, but I think that team's about to get blown up. But we will go ahead and start off here with our Sunday slate. So we got the Packers going into Cleveland versus your Brownies. One that I absolutely want to hear your take on. But before we do that, I relish the Packers losses. Okay. One of my favorite things to do is listen to Packers sports analysts and talk show hosts after a loss. And so I'm just going to play a quick little clip here from ESPN Milwaukee for you.
Before you play it, I just want to say this is something that we have been trying to say for a long time. I am going to toot our horn a little bit right here because we have been trying to say this for fucking forever.
Got to.
Not trust Jordan Love.
Oh, of course it's not going to pop up. Do it on this one.
Not trust Jordan Love. I don't care if they're paying him $100 million. I don't care how good you think he is, but you cannot trust him. That is done and over. You must recognize one of his weaknesses, and there are other strengths, is his ability to do incredibly stupid things, and you cannot give him the opportunity, because the next time it happens when you do, it's going to cost you something way bigger than this.
So, we've talked about Jordan Love.
I ain't wrong.
Not being as good as he's made out to be by a lot of people.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Again, the Packers have been good through 2 weeks this year. Some might even say they were good in your game to an extent, but we talked about this before when we made our picks for the game. They seem to be nothing spectacular. They do what they need to do. They run kind of a tapioca offense, go out there, they're able to put up points against bad teams. Well, I guess I shouldn't even say that. I mean, they put up points against the Lions,
They've been good. Like, they have played well.
They have a solid defense, a solid offense, but when you get kicked in the mouth, what are you going to do with that? And your defense spent all Sunday kind of kicking them in the mouth.
Yeah.
And Jordan Love at the end of the game throws an interception. He throws an interception that is legitimately having people say, was this game fixed? Was it rigged? Because it was so bad. And that's the sort of blue screen of death moment that can come from quarterbacks when they don't have an answer to a situation. The great ones rise above that. You know, your Tom Brady's, Peyton Manning's, things like that, your Patrick Mahomes, and the ones who are good within their system but can't recover from that, they end up having a blue screen of death and throwing a incredible pick, which keeps your Browns right in the game.
Don't put ball. Where's it at? Oh, which hit there? There we go. That hit. Yeah. Keep getting them picks, baby.
Yeah. But then, you know, that keeps you in the game. And then, of course, it looks like they're going to go down. They're going to get a field goal. But as is tradition for week 3, apparently. Blocked kick.
Yeah. I thought it got blocked off the edge, but that was not where it came from. I think Shelby Harris up the middle got his big old paw up there. Insane. Like Robert said it earlier, ton of blocked kicks this weekend. And this was huge. We had no momentum, no offense really to speak of damn near the entire game. Outside of maybe some Quinshon Judkins. He ran the ball well, but Joe Flacco is not getting it done. Joe Flacco wouldn't push the ball down the field, and if he did, he was sailing it 10 yards out of bounds. This looked like fucking Deshaun Watson with the last time he was playing, just overthrowing everything. So I think we need to make a change. I'm pumped that we got to win. The defense is legit. I've been trying to say it since the fucking preseason. This defense is going to be legit. And right now they've kind of proved that they are. The offense needs to pick up the fucking slack and find a way to score more points. And Joe Flacco's not getting it done. Give me Gabriel. And if that doesn't work, give me Shadur. Find out what these guys got, because we know the defense is really fucking good. Figure out if one of these two guys can be our quarterback of the future. And if they are, we can use those 2 first-round picks on offensive line, on, fucking plethora of another goddamn corner. So, there's plenty of things that we could use to improve this team. If one of them works out at quarterback, Joe is a steady veteran, but he's well past his prime at this point. I'm ready to start Dylan this week, but I don't know. I don't think they are.
Yeah, I don't see it happening yet. The thing is that the Browns have been much maligned. They've been talked about very backhandedly this entire offseason. They're not going to be a good team, one of the worst teams in the NFL. And you've said that they've been good on defense, that they're going to have a good defense. We've known that their defense is good and can be scary, and that's what can keep them in games. And if we look at this team 2 years ago, you were winning games with somewhat of the same formula: outstanding defense and a run game. You had a laundry list of quarterbacks come in 2 years ago, but you were winning games because you had a run game and you had a really good defense. And now Quinshon Judkins, through 2 games, is leading all rookie rushers in rushing yards.
Yeah, he's been really fucking good.
So it's potentially an option that you guys could be the team that you were from 2 years ago. Now, of course, you'd like to see the passing game get a little bit more elevated. And I think you have some receivers on there, and Cedric Tillman and Jerry Jeudy, that could do that for you. I'm just saying, I think too many people probably have slept on the Browns. I'm not willing to call them a playoff team or anything like that at this point, because I think
I had them as the 7th team getting in with a losing record, because I think the AFC is going to be super fucking top heavy.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, is that if you guys start to figure out a way to put up more than 13 points in a week, if you're able to
20
put up a little bit more offense.
Kevin hasn't scored 20 points in fucking forever.
That's a recipe, especially when it gets cold out there, to start winning some more games, more than people expected you guys to win. So definitely, people have slept on the Browns. People are going to call this a fluke or whatever. It's more about the Packers, but the secret play here is maybe you should pay attention a little bit more to the Browns and what they can do with this recipe, because it has been successful in the past.
Yeah. Listen, love the win. Am I excited about the offense? Not at all. But I'll take a fucking win. Doesn't inch, mile, family, all of that Vin Diesel shit. Like I don't care.
Absolutely. All right. Well, next we'll look at my Minnesota Vikings and Cincinnati Bengals. Your team helped me have a good weekend, regardless of what happened in my game, because every day a Packers loss happens, I am happy in my household. But then my Vikings played the Bengals at home, trotted out Carson Wentz versus Browning, backup quarterback duel, and I feel like I'm not gonna do it again. Smoking's bad. Smoking's bad, ladies and gentlemen. It's bad for you. I'm not gonna do that again. But we saw a absolutely awesome defensive performance, not just from the Brian Flores defense, but individually from Isaiah Rodgers. Had one of the best weeks a defender has ever had. The first ever perfect rating from PFF. 2 touchdowns, fumbles, interceptions, peanut punches all over the place, which really just dejected that Bengals team. And then we were able to focus on the run. We had a really good opening drive. Carson Wentz looks decent on that opening drive, but then Kevin O'Connell said he played point guard. And that's just the new terminology for being a game manager, I guess.
Yeah.
A little bit less pejorative. And he did what needed to be done. We ran the ball very well. Jordan Mason looks like he could be the number 1 runner in this system. Keep in mind, we were going up against a very bad Bengals team. But I think that the biggest thing for me here is that Christian Darrisaw came back and looked like Christian Darrisaw. And he might be the MVP of this team at the end of the year, because much like a left tackle out there in San Francisco, when he's in the game, they're a really good team. When he's not there, things fall apart. We saw that
for protector of the year.
Yeah, we saw that through 2 weeks with this Vikings team. When Christian Darrisaw is not out there, things get rough. When he's out there, things go really fucking well. And so I'm very proud of this Vikings team. I was very disappointed in CBS for pulling my fucking broadcast off and forcing me to watch an illegal stream on TikTok in order to watch my Vikings. Now, thankfully, they corrected themselves and put the game back on. Just lost most of the third quarter. But happy with that Vikings win. We head off to Dublin to play the Pittsburgh Steelers in technically an away game, but it's a neutral site, essentially.
I hope you kick the shit out of them again, just like you did to the Bengals, because much like I improved your weekend by my team winning, whenever I see the Bengals get the shit kicked out of them, I enjoy it. Yeah. It puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, it was an ass whooping. I got a lot of text messages, including from my mom, saying you and Hannah went to the wrong game, apparently.
Yeah.
And I had told Hannah when we went up to Minnesota, I said, hey, I really hope we get to see a blowout versus the Falcons. Not because blowout games are necessarily fun, especially not fun to watch on TV, but I want you to have that experience to see the team perform really well and do awesome things, and get to hear the fireworks and all that shit go off and all the skull chants and stuff that go along with it. I want you to be able to experience that. And we didn't get to experience it, but I got to see it on TV a little bit to be like, hey, we were just there. Remember, like a week ago, that's what it could have been. Just keep that in your mind. Maybe we'll get to see one of those in the future.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Listen, I think one of my coolest moments was I just got done working at the Browns game. I got to watch the fourth quarter when the 49ers wide right on the field goal. That place fucking exploded. It was watching games like that is incredible. I have never seen the Browns blow anybody out, so I don't know how that really feels. I've definitely never seen it in person. So,
I have seen one blowout game in person, a Monday Night Football versus the New York Giants. Randy Moss went off, and we beat them like 41-10 or something like that. That same year, we lost to the Giants, I believe, in the playoffs, like 41-10 in New York. But it was a really cool experience to go to a Monday night game with my dad, show up to school a little bit late the next morning, see a blowout. Which, not to jump back to your game too much there, but man, Schmidt happens. What are your thoughts on the kicking game now?
He earned himself another week.
Well, the Young
You're
Ho
only
is
as
off
good what you've
market.
done for me lately, man. This is the NFL.
Yeah, Young Ho Koo is Young Wei Koo. Excuse me, but he's the Young Ho. He's off the market now.
What is his actual? Is it Young Ho Koo or is it Young Wei Koo?
Young Wei Koo. Yeah.
Okay. Why? Who the fuck is Young Ho Koo? Why do I have that? Huh?
It's the same guy. It's definitely spelled Young Ho Koo.
Okay.
But, in Korean pronunciation is
Young Wei. Okay, so I'm just a fucking asshole who can't say his name right.
Yeah, I'm sorry that we don't speak fluent Korean.
Yeah,
unfortunately. But yeah, he's off the market, so you're stuck with Schmidt.
That's all right. Schmidt earned himself another week.
Yep, Schmidt happens. All right, next up we have the Colts going into Tennessee versus the Titans. Colts once again put up a really good game. really led by that running attack. They win 41-20. Are the Titans going to be able to get a win this year, do you think?
I think they'll probably get 1 or 2. I think that coaching staff's getting fired, though. And I'm very excited at the possibility of possibly bringing back Bill Callahan. Because listen, Mike Bloomgren's nice guy and all, but I would much rather have old Bill back.
One or both of the Callahans.
I mean, we'll see what happens with Tommy Reese. He might be a placeholder for this year.
Yeah. Look, it's an interesting spot for Tennessee because, you bring in Callahan and he's saddled with Levis from the get-go. The intention for them was to draft him a quarterback that he could develop. And so you would hope in one sense that the ownership would give him a little bit more leash to actually develop him and get a roster by him. I mean, they just bring in a new GM this year.
Yeah.
That being said, most penalized team in football, they are very undisciplined. And that starts to point a finger at not just players, but the actual coaching. One thing about Dan Campbell, his first year, they had 3 wins. He still had a disciplined team. They were not good, but they were disciplined. So it kind of points you to, hey, maybe there actually is some sort of a coaching issue here. It'll be interesting to watch them going forward. Titans do have a potentially gettable game this week versus Houston. Also not doing too well. But Colts team here, looking like the real deal. Indiana Jones, the moniker is completely caught on. This does not look like his last crusade at this point. He's doing good things there in Indianapolis. I'm sure the Colts fans are super stoked about their season right now.
I would be. You find a guy who could be your franchise quarterback essentially for basically nothing. You get your all-pro running back playing at an all-pro level again. Their defense is fucking really good, especially their defensive front. That Colts team is fantastic, man. They have put everything together. Now, they played a Titans team that is super, all over the place. I don't know if they know what the hell they're supposed to be doing. They're going to be bad. I think the coaching staff gets fired. But if I'm the Colts fan, if I'm Torres, I'm like, yeah, we got a legit shot to win the division and maybe go win a playoff game.
Yeah. Now, for the Colts, look, Daniel Jones brought the Giants to the playoffs with Saquon Barkley there. Without Saquon Barkley, things fell apart.
Right.
But now you look at Saquon doing fantastic things. You look at Daniel Jones outside of the Giants doing fantastic things. Giants fans have a real reason to be upset with leadership there in-house, and that definitely could be the nail in the coffin for them, on top of the fact that they're having a pretty bad year. Maybe a lifeline coming for him, though. That being said, Daniel Jones did sign with the Colts on a 1-year, $14 million deal. So if he is their guy, is he going to get them to pony up, much like the Giants did when they extended Daniel Jones there on a 4-year, $160 million deal, averaging $40 million per year, which we thought was egregious at the time.
But that's now the right number now.
$40 million for a starting quarterback is relatively cheap. I mean, you look at the Baker deal down there in Tampa, and right now he's being paid peanuts for the performance that he's putting up.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is getting paid absolute peanuts for the performance he's putting up. And he might be looking for some heavy money at the end of the year if he keeps playing like he is.
And I would imagine the Colts would look to pay him. If this continues, I mean, you can move off of Anthony Richardson. You could potentially try to trade him and get assets back. And then nobody's the wiser. Everything worked out just fine, just like it did in fucking San Francisco. You don't have to worry about anybody getting fired or nobody's upset. It all worked out. Doesn't matter how it happened. By the time it all mattered, it all fucking worked out.
Yeah. Shane Steichen being called a good coach now. I know last year, people were calling for his head. It's wild how things ebb and flow in the NFL. If you just give some people some time, that's not always the case. Time was not a good thing for Aaron Rodgers. It's made him a bad quarterback, but he was still able to get the win with the Steelers. versus the Patriots. They win 21-14 in New England. However, it was another win where at least I wasn't convinced that the Steelers team is really any good. It took a lot of late game shenanigans. Yeah.
The Patriots beat themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, congrats to Steelers. You are 2-1, but I think this is one of the more false 2-1s out there. The Steelers haven't looked good to me 1 week yet this year. They haven't proven to me that they're a good team. The defense is still not too good. You're going up against a Patriots defense that is very depleted. Christian Gonzalez, one of the better cornerbacks out there, not playing. And you just barely eke out this win. I'm looking forward to playing the Steelers next week. I can tell you that because they look like a very gettable team right now. Patriots obviously got a lot of work to do, but I think we have seen Drake May's the dude. He is maturing. Another year in this in the NFL, and getting a year in this system is only going to make him better. By the end of the year, I think he's going to be a pretty solid quarterback. If it wasn't for Ramondre Stevenson coughing up the ball twice, especially one of them there, basically in the end zone, this is a completely different game. The Steelers probably lose this game.
Yeah, I agree. Drake May outplayed Aaron Rodgers from everything that I saw, but the Patriots killed themselves. Penalties were fucking terrible. Now, Drake played well, but he needs to do a better job of layering his throws, man. He had places where he could have got the ball in. That touchdown, he tried to rifle it in. If he just fucking puts a little bit of touch, that's a touchdown. So it's not only Ramondre. There was, 2 turnovers in the fucking red zone kills any chance to win pretty much. So I don't think the Steelers beat this team. I think the Patriots lost this fucking game. Aaron continues to, I'm not sure he understands what he's seeing in terms of like what the offense is trying to get done. Like he looks like he is hesitant on everything other than the deep shot. And if he gets a one-on-one shot, he knows how to throw it. He knows where to throw it. And that is still working for him. Outside of that, rhythm, timing, throws, deep dig, all of that stuff, you're not really seeing him hit any of that shit. He's like the second to worst rated quarterback in the NFL, according to PFF.
Yet he has the most touchdown passes in the NFL this year. This might be a common theme. If you look at weird bulk raw statistics without context, Aaron Rodgers had a good year last year with the Jets.
Fantasy quarterback, man. That's what he is.
But we know from the eye test, it wasn't a good showing. He's putting up some statistics this year. Now, 139 yards ain't that great, but he leads the NFL in touchdowns right now. And I see a lot of Pittsburgh fans out there saying we're 2-1. This is why we brought the guy in. Y'all talk trash. Well, he doesn't look good to me. And this offense does not look to be humming at all. They still only put up 64 rushing yards in this game. That's not what the Steelers team is built to do. So to me, you don't even let your rookie running back tote the ball once in this game. They've got some soul searching to do because I think very quickly they're going to probably get smacked in the mouth and be asking, wait, where did that early season magic go? And I'm here to tell you, magic isn't real, especially when it's not from ayahuasca dreams from Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
It's fucking FUBAR bullshit. So Steelers fans, they should probably be a little bit cautious.
You're not getting 5 turnovers every week, Steelers fans. Absolutely. Like, that's just not going to fucking happen. Teams are not going to gift you games like that every week. But you know what? TJ Watt finally got a goddamn sack.
He did. All right, next up, LA Rams go against the Philadelphia Eagles, and Rams were absolutely winning this game and then decided to give up 26 points in the second half, let the Eagles back in. And in a way, the Eagles fought their way back in, especially from some impressive defensive plays and special teams plays. Obviously, we saw a big boy get himself a blocked kick return for a touchdown that seals the deal. Jordan Davis clutched up. Good teams find ways to win, even if you're losing. Eagles are a good team. At the end of this, I think the Rams are dangerous. I think the Eagles are dangerous. It took some, I don't want to call it lucky plays, Those were skillful things. That's good teams taking advantage of situations and finding a way to win. Rams and Eagles, both good teams, both playoff teams. And this one just kind of a shitty beat for us because we both had the Rams on this one, plus points. And it took some theatrics at the end in order to get the Eagles that win.
Yeah, man, this was a good game. This is a well-played game. All the way up until that block kick. Obviously, if you're the Rams, you're not happy with the second half performance by your defense. But if you're the Eagles, you're loving the second half adjustments you made because you were getting your fucking dicks kicked in the first half. So this is this was good coaching, two good teams. And for us, just a really fucking shitty beat. Sometimes things just happen, I guess. You know what? And that's kind of how this game felt. Good game. Cannot believe he fucking returned that.
Yeah. Question about the Eagles is obviously they found, hey, we need to start throwing the ball at the end of the game. Got A.J. Brown finally involved, 109 yards, 6 catches, and a touchdown. But the running game 2 weeks in a row now really hasn't looked fantastic. Saquon hasn't been blowing it up like he did last year. This game, he gets 46 yards, no touchdowns. Is there a concern there in the run game for Philly? Lane Johnson also went down in this game. I'm not sure what his injury status is going next week.
I wouldn't say that there's any kind of concern in terms of like, oh no, they can't run the ball. I think the Rams are a good defensive team. I think they're well coached, and they probably had a good scheme to try to shut down Saquon. I mean, Jalen Hurts hasn't really been the guy that everybody's like, oh, I'm super worried he's going to beat me with his arm. I think everybody's main focus is kind of shutting down Saquon until Jalen proves that he can go out and beat you. Now that he's done that, we'll probably see a little bit more of a mixed game plans for teams coming in. Now, I can't say that that's exactly what happened, but I'm not going to get on a worry train saying, oh, no, Philly can't run the ball. I mean, that's what they do. Philly runs the ball.
Yeah. And that's the thing is I think that Philly knows, and we've talked about the revival of the running back in the NFL and the revival of the run game where it was all pass. And then last year we saw running backs start to take a big step forward again. When you run the ball, you control the game script, you slow things down, you get your defense rested, and it could be a really good thing for your team. You have to be able to have teeth in the passing game, though. And Philly hasn't had to show those teeth until this game. When they needed the passing game to happen, Jalen Hurts stepped up. He made the plays, and they do got some really good playmakers in the passing game. And that's what makes them such a versatile team, a playoff team, probably one of the best teams in the NFC. So until someone is able to shut everything down, Philadelphia is the reigning Super Bowl champs. They're one of the best teams there. All right, next up, Jets and Buccaneers. This one goes down to the end as well. Jets get themselves a blocked field goal. And you saw some awesome dancing on the sideline from Aaron Glenn. Many memes have been made. I love the Earth, Wind, and Fire meme of him dancing to the songs. But they made the Cardinals sin. You don't give Baker the ball back.
Right.
With less than 2 minutes left. Because he's going to find a way to make things happen. Even though Mike Evans is down, McAfee out there somewhere. Buccaneers roll down the field, get themselves a field goal to win the game 29-27. Thoughts on this game,
Mike? Baker continues to do exactly what he needs to do in the big moment. Got down into, and that was beautiful fucking catch by Ibuka to get into that field goal range. Like that over the shoulder
catch.
And the one-handed catch that he made earlier in that game is.
There was a catch at the end of the game.
Yeah,
They ruled not a catch, and it was under 2 minutes and couldn't be reviewed by the coaches, and they failed to review it, but they kept showing angles of it. Todd Bowles even took Todd Bowles? He took a timeout to allow them more time to look at it, and they still didn't.
So I don't get all of that information because I watched the condensed game. So I did not know that all of that happened.
Yeah. So the catch you're talking about at the end of the game, there was one after that.
Okay.
And I'm calling it a catch. In real time, it didn't look like one, but he definitely got both feet in bounds. He did a little toe drag.
No.
So either way, this Bucs team, they are resilient. This is another one of those teams that good teams find a way to win, even when you're down. I've said that they remind me a little bit of the Chiefs, where they aren't blowing the top off any one which way or another. But when it comes down to the end, they're finding a way to win. And this Bucs team and Baker right now, they got the moxie to do that. Fun little tweet back and forth. I don't know if you had seen the whole interaction between CJ Gardner-Johnson and Baker, where, Baker beats CJ Gardner-Johnson. CJ Gardner-Johnson texts him back and says, how many rings you got? And then CJ Gardner-Johnson was released by the Texans today, and Baker responded to the tweet, you all right, bro? So just fun little back and forth. Baker's a dog. I love how he talks about Steve Wilkes being the guy that cut him and how it was a little personal and everything. And look, kind of like Jordan always finds a way to find an enemy on the other team. Baker's pulling a little bit of that energy in. I love his chippiness.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know that's kind of rubbing it in. I didn't mean it to. It's
I
like
get it. No, it's all right. Listen,
like,
man, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Bucs fans. I'm happy that Baker's doing this. The Jets, they're going to be scrappy. But you know what? I wanted to go back. You remember that we had a comment come in last week. Should I trade Garrett Wilson for, was it Marvin Harrison Jr.? Listen, I said, wait, let's see what he does with Tyrod. 10 catches, 84 yards, and a ton.
Yeah. I also liked Baker. He showed up for Tyrod. Someone asked about their time playing together, and he corrected the reporter who called him Tyrod and said, actually, it's Tyrod. He won't tell you that, but looking out for his guy.
Yeah.
Because they're obviously buddies. That's pretty cool too. Yeah, look. My Marvin Harrison Jr. beat there might not sound as good this week, especially after how he had faux pas in his game. But we'll get to that here in a little bit. Yeah, look, the Jets team is going to be scrappy. They're 0-3 right now. I don't think they're an 0-3 team, though. As the year goes on, we are going to see them get some wins, especially once they get Justin Fields back and get a little bit back to their identity. They did not look good in the first part of this game, but definitely showed out there in the fourth quarter with 21 points. It did take some special teams theatrics.
Yeah, you're going to block kick, return for a touchdown. I mean,
but that's energy. And you saw that energy from Aaron Glenn on the sideline. And that's why at the end of the game, it wasn't all ho-hum. There's no moral victories in football, but if there is one, it was in this game for the Jets because they showed they still got some teeth to them. And Aaron Glenn even said, he's like, it's not what we want to do. I'm paraphrasing here. It's not, we don't want to lose, but I'm happy with how my team performed and how they fought. And it showed me something. And that's something I can get behind, especially if I am one of those Jets players. That's our performance today versus a very good Bucs team. That's something I can get behind because we got something there for the future. Next up, Las Vegas Raiders versus the Washington Commanders. A blowout. The score at the end of the game makes you think, yeah, it was a bad loss, but maybe it was a little bit closer. And realistically, it was a lot of garbage time points here. 41-24, Commanders get the win. Mariota looks pretty good. And we saw a big game from Trey Tucker. 8 receptions, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns. Deep ball threat there for the Raiders. But again, this was all kind of part of that garbage time situation here. Be wary, fantasy managers. He did get a lot of targets there, but they were a lot of garbage time targets and a lot of garbage time yards. Man, what do you think about this Raiders team? That offensive line looks like they've taken a huge step back from last year where, their right tackle, they thought they found a late round gem in him, and now he's not looking too good. Ashton Jeanty not looking too hot back there. Geno obviously has his warts despite throwing 3 touchdowns. Again, garbage time here. And that secondary is really scary for me with this Raiders team too. I thought that they were going to be a lot more competitive with Pete Carroll, but they've seen themselves be less than competitive against some good teams.
Yeah. So I got some notes here on this game. One of the first things, the Raiders O-line had a really bad day. And it wasn't just like in pass protection. Pass protection was fucking terrible. Geno was constantly moved off the spot. He was also sacked 5 times. But beyond that, they couldn't fucking block in the running game. Ashton, listen, I don't know that if it's Ashton Janty's fault. Some of it is at times, but he was hit in the backfield so many fucking times watching this game. I don't know what he's supposed to do. Like, he's getting contacted 3-4 yards in the backfield. Probably, I think it was 3 or 4 times in this game. Their O-line was abysmal. And their protection plan, when they were like actually showing like the zoomed out view, made no fucking sense to me. Like, they were trying to pull guys backside to block fucking Mason Crosby that was never going to fucking work.
Max Crosby.
There was so much pressure coming. Oh, I'm sorry, other way around.
I just want to be clear. The kicker wasn't out there. Old Mason Crosby wasn't out there. It was Max Crosby.
Yeah, Max Crosby. I had the wrong fucking guy anyways. The edge coming from the fucking Commanders. They blitzed so goddamn much, and the Raiders had no idea how to fucking pick any of it up. Like, they were pulling when they were showing like double A gap blitzes and shit. I was like, why are we not checking out of this protection plan? It made no fucking sense. Mariota was super efficient. Dan Quinn is a badass. The screaming with the busted nose. I mean, it was just a terrible game.
It was Mariota that busted his nose open too, right?
Yeah, it's the late hit out of bounds.
Yeah, we'll call it that. He ran into him pretty hard.
Yeah.
Obviously not intentionally, but look, Mariota did kind of what Carson Wentz did. He was the point guard out there, and they took it to him, 201 yards on the ground. Still a little bit scary to me that we're not seeing enough Bill Krosky Merritt out there. He did get a tud, but only 26 rushing yards. Jeremy McNichols, though, has the big day. Only 4 carries, but he busted off a 60-yarder, which really broke things open. Injury stuff, though, with the Commanders going forward. We do have Terry McLaurin with a leg injury. They're not sure about his status in the near future. And then also Jaden Daniels, they're still calling him day-to-day with the knee. And with the way that Mariota performed, it's understandable that the Commanders might look to sit him out, especially going up against a Falcons team this weekend that might not be so scary as they were with their win 2 weeks ago. So interesting injury stuff there to watch going forward with the Commanders. It is a long season. Don't be surprised if they let Mariota go out there again for another start.
I would not be surprised. And the dude, Dorrance Armstrong, I had no idea who that dude was before I watched this game.
Yeah, he had himself a good day. Good day.
Yeah.
Next up, though, speaking about that Falcons team, Falcons go to Carolina versus the Panthers. And I guess the Falcons were riding high on their win versus my Vikings. Didn't prepare, thought that the Panthers were going to be a team that they could just walk over, and they got the shit stomped out of them in a very, very embarrassing loss for the Falcons, 30-0. I know that you feel a lot of certain ways about this because you've had your little squabbles with Falcons fans this season. I think more than anything, this kind of goes to show maybe this is the homer meme. My Vikings were very beat up, and we had a bad game script in that game. And the game was very close up until the end when we allowed that kind of late game garbage time touchdown. That being said, my Vikings lost. We deserved that loss in week 2. The Falcons, I want to say, though, deserved this loss in week 3 because I think they went up to the Panthers and thought, this is the Panthers of old. This team sucks balls, and we're really good at running the ball, and we're going to walk all over them. And lo and behold, you have to put in Kirk Cousins in the 4th quarter because it became a meaningless game. Penix did not look good. And that stat, awful. I keep seeing the stat floating around. And look, this is kind of a flimsy stat that Penix has not won a game when a team has scored more than 7 points on him. But until that happens, he gets a win when a team has scored more than 7 points on him. It's something that we're going to continue watching here. Not a good day from the Falcons. I'll let you kind of take it home here on this game because I know that you've got some thoughts.
This team fucking sucks. And I'm so mad that I let myself think that they had turned it around when they beat you guys. Because Penix played all right. But my God, they didn't do anything in this game. That defense that got after you guys had no problem. I mean, the Panthers' mediocre-ass offensive line had no problem stopping them. There was like almost no fucking pressure on Bryce Young. He was able to pick them apart. Cornerbacks couldn't stay with anybody. Michael Penix was sailing balls over everybody. And guess what? What happens when you fucking throw the ball over people's heads in the NFL? They get picked. I remember early when we were doing like our predictions before the season started, and I said that the Falcons were going to be fucking not that good. They're going to be worse than last year. They weren't sure what they were doing at the quarterback position. That's why Kirk Cousins is still there. Well, guess what, guys? Week 3's here. Guess who was in the game? Now, obviously, Michael Penix is starting next week. He's their future. I bet you that fucking leash keeps getting shorter and shorter. 18 out of 36, 2 picks, and getting your dick kicked in by the Panthers, not a shot. This team has no business having a conversation about winning a division, being in the playoffs. This team is nowhere in the same stratosphere as the Bucs.
Yeah, and I think the stats do kind of tell a little bit here. Look, it's not like Bryce Young was last year late season Bryce Young. 16 of 24, 121 yards, no touchdowns, but no interceptions. They were safe with the ball there. Also, you've got interceptions from this defense, not a very good Panthers defense.
Well, and the one was just an atrocious, like threw it so fucking late out into the flat that, I mean, a 60-year-old woman could have picked the bitch off and run it in.
Yeah. Cornerback Chow Smith-Wade.
Yeah.
If you don't recognize the name, that's because who the fuck is Chow Smith-Wade?
Exactly.
But he got himself a pick 6 in this game. It was a very bad game from the Falcons. And look, I think as much as you are not a Falcons fan right now, I think this is a okay team. I do think that the Falcons is an okay team. This just seems like lack of preparation. They thought that they were going to be able to walk into Carolina and just kind of get another dub. It caused them to fire their wide receiver coach, Ike Hilliard. And so there's already some dysfunction there. It'll be interesting to see that. Look, I don't think that they should start selling off pieces by any means, but you do still have Kirk Cousins in house. He is a good trade chip. I don't think you're going to get what you want for him. I don't think you're going to be able to pawn off all of his contracts, but there are quarterback needy teams out there. I'm looking at you, Cincinnati Bengals, who could use a quarterback to get the ball out to some impressive offensive weapons while you wait for your franchise guy to get back from his turf toe. The Falcons should probably take a really hard look inward and say, hey, we've got some talent on this team. We should stop making some boneheaded decisions, move off Kirk Cousins, focus on our run game, and focus on a good game script versus teams who aren't good teams, because they are still, at the end of the day, professional football teams who have the ability to win professional football games. And they just got dog walked by this Panthers team, which I definitely didn't expect. I don't know who out there expected it. Congrats to you if you did.
Yeah. I don't know. But
right.
I'm done with this game.
Yep.
Okay,
look, and this next one, we should have known better. Texans lose to the Jaguars 17-10. This was one of them that we were a little bit confused by, I believe. Thinking like Texans got a good they got a good defense. They got some offensive weapons. This is the Jaguars, and they haven't really been impressive so far, even though the Jaguars are 2-1 now. But the Jags do what's necessary. They get the win. They hold that vaunted Texans offense with one of the best offensive lines in the league to 10 points. Texans defense is good. They are good. They held the Jaguars to 17 points. I think quietly the Jags actually have a pretty decent defense, somewhere around 15th best in the NFL. And so some props to them. Jags offense still doesn't seem to have its identity. Do you know off the top of your head who their offensive coordinator is?
Jags? No, I do not.
Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron, who did great things last year with Caleb Williams. Shane Waldron, who did great things with the passing game in Seattle before he left there. The passing game has some issues there with the Jaguars. and they have a head coach who's put together some good offenses. But I have some serious questions about Shane Waldron because you have Brian Thomas Jr. and you've got Travis Hunter, and you've got some good options there. You got some good offensive weapons, and the passing game still just looks clunky. You're not getting these guys fucking involved. I'm a little scared for the Jags fans because of Shane Waldron in particular. That being said, defense played well for the Jaguars. Texans off to an 0-3 start. Good defense, man. But outside of Nico Collins, the offense scares me. CJ Stroud, is there such thing as a junior slump?
I mean, I don't know if it's his fault. He has absolutely no fucking time, man. I think my first note. No, where is it?
Look, he had 2 picks in this game, and they weren't just because of bad blocking. Like he's
That's
taking
true.
some lumps.
He threw one. The one was just on him. He missed high, and the safety picked it. But that Texans offensive line is terrible. My note: they have the worst offensive line of anybody I watched this weekend. It was awful. I don't know how CJ is supposed to operate under that. The officials are going to continue to call leverage very closely, I think, this year. I think special teams in general is going to be a massive emphasis. Leverage was called in this game, cost some people some points. Tootin is going to be a good back. I think he's ended up taking the lead back role, man, at some point. Etienne is a nice back, but I think he's more of a change of pace guy. I think Mitchell Tootin is a guy that you would hand it off to more inside the tackles. This game was boring as fuck to watch, though. There's no points, basically. It wasn't great defense either. It was just a lot of misses. So this game stunk. But the Jags win. The Texans are going to find a way to win at some point. If they can fucking find a way to protect, they have got to do something to help this offensive line out. Move the goddamn pocket for CJ Stroud. All they did was they sat back and, oh no, the blitz is coming. They just tried to out-screen all the blitz, all the pressure that was coming. Well, they didn't block the first wave. They didn't block the fucking second wave either. So they got to figure out something else besides just trying to go to a screen game to get their offense going because their offensive line's a sieve. What they're doing right now doesn't work.
Yeah. Unfortunately, offensive lines normally don't gel or get fixed in the middle of the year. So I think this is something that they're going to have to figure out how to deal with for the rest of the year. And it's one of those things that is extremely difficult to overcome. And so I think it might be kind of the nail in the coffin for this Texans team this season. Unfortunately, I know it's only week 3, but temperature is not looking good there right now.
They're 0-3. The Jags are 2-1. The Colts are 3-0. I mean, they're so far behind already.
Yeah. Now, I did preface this earlier. We do have a game this week between the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. That one probably is going to be a barn burner, ladies and gentlemen. Both of these teams absolutely could use a win. And someone's going to come out with a win in this game. So make sure to tune in on Sunday. Yeah, next up, Broncos and Chargers in LA. Chargers do eke out the win in this one, 23-20. Two teams that are both very good, both well coached. I still have a lot of question marks about Bo Nix, though. And
so does PFF, worst rated quarterback in the NFL.
This is true. 14-25, 6.1 yard average, and 1 tutty pass to Cortland Sutton, who did have himself a good day. Cortland Sutton, 6 catches, 118 yards, and a touchdown. Run game got going for Denver, but Bo Nix, we don't have to pull out the Bo Nix award like we did last year, but it's still a pretty abysmal performance. Justin Herbert does still look like the real deal up there. And Omarion Hampton got things going and will have to absolutely keep things going for this Chargers team because Najee Harris goes down with an Achilles injury. Immediately saw him go slump. And we saw in the replay the pop in that ankle. We also saw Justin Herbert, the fucking robot, look back like he was going to hand him the ball and just hop over his running back, Najee Harris, and deliver a strike downfield. cold-blooded killer there.
Yeah.
Harbaugh loves those. And a guy that I want to give a shout out from this game, one of my guys that I stood for in the draft this year, Rondé Gadsden, had himself his first game in the NFL, first catch in the NFL, and he got 5 catches, 46 yards. Pretty good day for the Rook, who was a late round pick, who I think is a very good receiving tight end. I think they saw a little bit of that in this game, and you're probably going to see him get mixed in even more going forward in that passing game.
I think that you're probably right, but one thing that I thought was really interesting is just the volume of targets that Quentin Johnson is continuing to get. He is becoming a guy that Herbert believes in, Herbert trusts. He went to him 10 times in this game, and you know what? He's catching the ball. So this was a really well played game. 2 excellent defenses. I don't really have a whole ton of notes. Marion Hampton finally got in the end zone for his first NFL touchdown. But Bo Nix, the one big play they had a shot at, they run that flea flicker, got it wide open. You cannot miss that when you got a trick play that's going to go for 7 or go for 6, and it's tough. Bo's not had a good start to this year.
Yeah. Look, we could have seen Bo Nix peak last year. We talk about age cliffs.
No.
Bo's a little bit older than your average.
He is
Second-year quarterback. Has he already reached his age cliff? You'll find out more in the coming weeks on Raw Dawg Sports. Next up, we have the Saints playing the Seahawks. Seahawks kind of obliterated the Saints. Another really good defensive performance here that shut down the Saints team. And special teams, we saw a blocked kick, I believe. We saw a punt return for a touchdown. Or was it a blocked punt? I can't remember which. Either way, good special teams day here from the Seahawks. Another good running game. Maybe not yardage-wise, but definitely touchdown-wise for Kenneth Walker, getting 2 tuds there. And Sam Darnold, one of the more efficient, and I believe possibly the highest-rated quarterback according to PFF this last week as well. Had himself a good game, 218 yards, 2 touchdowns. Saints are probably the worst team in the NFL right now, and they are in a boat race to try to get themselves the number 1 overall pick to take their offensive coordinator's son, Garrett Nussmeier.
That sounds about right.
Awesome.
Nepotism's awesome.
Yeah.
The Saints are ass.
Mega ass.
Yeah, mega ass. Spencer took a step back, didn't play nearly as well as he had in other games. Shuck got in for a couple of garbage snaps. They're just bad. They're bad at football. Yeah. The Seahawks kind of had an easy game, man. They didn't have to do much.
They did. That being said, I do kind of feel like the Seahawks are actually good. Like, I think that Darnold carried forward a lot of what he had in Minnesota last year. Less weapons, so you're not seeing as high throttle explosive plays. But JSN's good. Cooper Kupp's good. You got a good running back, and you've got a pretty decent offensive line there, and it's being coupled with a pretty solid defense. Seattle's going to be competitive this year. A little bit of foreshadowing for our Thursday night. Next up, Cowboys and Bears. Man, embarrassing. Cowboys, what the fuck? Lose to the Bears. I did not see that one fucking coming. And you had Caleb, his either his coming out party or his going back in the closet party. I don't know which, but he has himself a hell of a day. 4 touchdowns, nearly 300 yards. I thought he was about to tongue kiss Roma Dunze on the sidelines. And the Cowboys, man, that defense is bad, and they lose CD real quick.
Where do you
George
go
Pickens is a good wide receiver, but he doesn't look like a number 1 wide receiver necessarily at this point that can carry a team. And it really just an embarrassing loss here for the Cowboys right before they have to have another probable embarrassment bringing Green Bay into town next week.
Yeah, so Green Bay's going to run it down their throat, and if Micah gets any opportunity.
Stop. You're making Caleb blush.
Yeah. This Cowboys team is really bad. They're really, really bad. Especially the defense.
We saw the Cowboys play really good week 1. maybe Jalen Carter really was the difference there. Like we saw this offense perform well. We saw the defense step up a little bit. And then it all came tumbling down in week 2 versus the Giants, where we saw an offensive duel between Russell Wilson, benched, and Dak Prescott, and thought, okay, maybe this offense still has juice, even though the defense is bad. And then they look juiceless versus the fucking Bears.
Well, as soon as you lose CD, your offense is going to be hampered.
Absolutely. But still, you do have a George Pickens there. You do have a good running game with Javonte Williams. You got a tight end who is showing out 13 catches for Jake Ferguson, 82 yards. CD can't be your whole team. You do have some offensive weapons there. Now, it does suck. They lose Tyler Booker for a little while with an injury. Obviously, first round pick that was important to them along that offensive line. And I think that just kind of starts to spell even more issues for this team going forward. I'm selling on Dallas right now. Things are not looking good there.
Yeah, I don't think they're a very good team. The Bears got to win. I think they beat a really bad team. Caleb played well, but they played a terrible defense. Who also wasn't Deron Bland didn't even play in this fucking game. So they don't even have their best guys. Yeah, Dallas is in a terrible, terrible spot right now.
Yeah. Another team in a terrible spot, 49ers, they lose their Bosa for the year with an ACL injury. The 49ers probably should change their name because the last several years, it feels like as long as I can remember now, this team is a very good roster that is absolutely stricken by injuries. They need to put something in the water up there, calcium or something. I don't fucking know what they need to do. Except for they are still able to win games against teams like the Cardinals when your number 1 pick wide receiver somehow is dropping balls and things are just not going your way. Cardinals also take a big loss. James Conner out for the year with an ankle injury. I believe it's out for the year. Boring game here as well. 15-16. 49ers get the win. I guess that's what's important is 49ers get a win. They are 3-0. Not a very resounding 3-0 though.
Yeah, no, this game was boring as shit. That no points were scored essentially until the fucking fourth quarter. The 49ers are going to try to cobble together as many wins as they can, but they're so banged up already. I guess they could go the Detroit Lions model and just bring in guys off the street, but we have seen injuries just derail this 49ers team over and over and over again. And it sucks for the 49ers fans, but you're happy with the win, but you're not excited about the outlook because so many guys on your team are just so fucking banged up. And on the opposite side, Kyler, come on, man. Make a fucking play when we need you to make a play late in the game. One time. Kyler is exciting, but does Kyler have that it factor at all? That clutch factor late in the game to go out and get you one?
Not like he used to have. There was a couple years ago where he was in MVP talks. He was doing some crazy things because he was able to skirt around and move around and make magic happen. And I think teams kind of haven't figured out in that aspect. Cardinals got a good defense. They still have a good defense, surprisingly good, which maybe we shouldn't be surprised because they have a defensive head coach, even though I've talked a lot of trash about him. But all I know is 49ers, I'm scared for Christian McCaffrey. I feel like he's the next one to fucking tumble. Mac Jones did just enough there to get the win. Also, almost looked like he was ready to cry on the sidelines when he got the win. Maybe his time is coming to a close soon. Purdy possibly coming back here very quickly. But 49ers 3-0. Props to them. Congrats, Joe Rockstar. I'd be really interested to hear what Joe Rockstar's thoughts are with this team, though, going forward, because if he's anything like you and me, it's a little bit scary for that outlook.
Yeah.
Next up, Chiefs Giants Sunday Night Football. Chiefs get the win versus the Giants, and this also felt like the Giants beat themselves more than anything. Yeah. Hell, Russell Wilson beat the Giants in this one. Russell Wilson looked absolutely abysmal, and it overshadowed the fact that I thought Mahomes did not look good either. the Mahomes-Kelsey connection it feels really dead, man. Kelsey obviously getting into it a little bit with Andy Reid on the sidelines there. Andy Reid playing it off pretty good before halftime, saying, "Yeah, I love the energy. Guys got emotions and energy. I love it."
Yeah.
This felt like the Giants were in the game. They beat themselves. Cam Scatterbo, that boy is pretty fucking fun to watch. It's going to be sad to find out that he has CTE.
For sure.
And the Giants' big story here is that they are moving to Jackson Dart, announced today, named the starting quarterback for next week. It's bad when you're in New York and you're hearing boos when Russ comes out and cheers when Jackson Dart comes out. And whether it's the fans that helped make this push or just ownership or the coaching that made the change, I think the Jackson Dart swap needed to happen. A quarterback change
had to happen. Whether it was Jameis or Jackson Dart, 100% Russell Wilson could not start another fucking game for them and Dayball keep his job.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, Chiefs going into a game this week versus the Ravens, the 1-3 Ravens, or excuse me, the 1-2 Ravens, 1-2 Chiefs. Someone's coming out of that game 1-3, which is surprising because if we said that statement a year or two ago, I think we'd have a lot of surprised people around here. Look, the Chiefs obviously are good. They're one of those teams that finds ways to win. We've talked about this show in particular, but again, they're not really impressing me. Okay, defense, offense, just apart from a couple weird deep throws, like one that was apparently 70 yards, according to Chris Collinsworth, when he was too busy gawking on Patrick Mahomes' dick. It was only 50 yards, Chris. Still impressive, but come on now. Or Chris Collinsworth applauding Patrick Mahomes for recovering his own fucking backwards pass fumbles.
That was the most, okay, so I didn't understand, like, he puts that ball in harm's way and he goes, shut the fuck. All of this is his fault.
Yeah.
Everything that transpired is because of Pat Mahomes' dumbass decision.
Here's a guy, I'm so impressed by Patrick Mahomes recovering that fumble that he threw. And like, come on, dude, get off the guy's jock. It was not a good game. I did not think Mahomes looked that good, despite putting up a good stat line, 22-37, 224 and a touchdown. The Chiefs need to get those offensive weapons back. They need Xavier Worthy back. They need Rashee Rice back. They, as far as I'm concerned, deserve to not go to the playoffs this year for not playing my guy Jalen Royals. You've got the answer right there, motherfuckers. I had to drop him in our fantasy league because he's doing me nothing. Tough one for the Giants there because, again, I feel like they beat themselves. But maybe some hope going forward because you might have someone who can do something other than airmail the ball in Jackson Dart.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm excited to see what Jackson Dart does. I'm excited for Giants fans. I hope it goes better than what happened with Russ. But if not, just know you got the fucking vibe king waiting in the back. He can, at the very least, Jameis will get you through this season, and you're not going to want to jump off of one of the bridges in New York. Yeah. Because Jameis will at least give you watchable football. But I hope that Jackson actually goes out there and plays well, man. I was not a big fan of his in the draft process. I didn't think he was gonna be all like what he's kind of shown that he could possibly be in preseason. Seems like a good dude. Hopefully goes to balls. I don't mind being wrong.
All right. And then that takes us to Monday night. Lions, Ravens. Lions get the win in Baltimore. Another Derrick Henry fumble gets punched out there by Aiden Hutchinson at the end of the game. Really kind of turned things. Look, the Lions did look very resilient, very good through the whole game. It was tied up through the third quarter, 21-21. And then the Lions just kind of took off in the fourth, putting up 17 points. Turnovers there definitely hurt the Ravens. It felt like, to me, personally watching, the Lions did a phenomenal job of locking Lamar down, or Lamar was indecisive to me in that fourth quarter. I felt like one of the things that makes Lamar Jackson magical, again, magic's not real, is him deciding to tuck the ball and take off. And it felt like he was too tepid with that. There were opportunities for him to run, and he was still looking to throw downfield too long, and then ended up getting sacked. I believe it was 7 sacks in this game by the Lions. So look, if the Ravens want to be competitive, want to make a run in the playoffs, they want to get rid of all the issues that they've had in the playoffs in the past several years, they've got to get things fixed there on that offense. They can't have Derrick Henry tripping over the bench while trying to throw his helmet and looking like a crying baby. It's a bad PR move.
So we'll talk about Derrick Henry real quick. I don't know what's going on, but he can't hold on to the ball, especially late in the games. This is Ramondre Stevenson, this is insane. Like, Derrick Henry fumbled 3 times now at this point, late in the game. And I don't remember the last time he had lost a fumble before this year. It had been like a year plus. So that is just, I don't understand what is happening to Derrick Henry. But I got to tell you, for all the things that the offense is you're worried about, I mean, they put up 30 fucking points. Their goddamn defense, though, was terrible. The Lions ran it down their fucking throat all night long. David Montgomery had himself a goddamn night, which got me paid because I had a David Montgomery anytime touchdown. I wish I went for 2. But, I mean, like, the Ravens could not stop them. They were just a sieve. And it was demoralizing to that defense. They were out and here's the thing. One nice thing about that Ravens offense is it can be pretty goddamn explosive at times. But if it's not, it's super quick 3 and out. Derrick Henry not going for a ton of yards. That's a lot of 3 and outs. Your defense is out there fucking for forever. Man. So the Lions, excellent game script. Goff did exactly what he needed to do. They ran the ball down their throat and did enough to keep the ball, knock the ball loose of Derrick Henry late in the game. So that always helps.
Yeah. And Dan Campbell, he's got some big onions on him, apparently.
Yeah. Troy, I don't know why we're talking about the man's onions.
We knew that, though. You know.
Listen, he carries some bitches around in a wheelbarrow. I know, but.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps it up for week 3 for us. But of course, before we head on out of here, before I go cook my wife a steak dinner.
Ooh.
So we're getting back on that carnivore, baby. We're going to hit the gym. I saw some pictures of myself about 6 months ago, and I looked yoked, and now I'm looking a little pudgy. I'm getting pissed. Got to get back to the gym. We have one game to talk about. Thursday night football. Yes. Seattle Seahawks going into Arizona versus the Cardinals. Divisional matchup here. According to FanDuel, not a sponsor, could be. Seattle is favored -1.5 points, over under a 43.5 in this game. Mike, do you think that the Cardinals turn it around here, get one going against their division rival at home?
I don't. I think the Seahawks are a pretty good team, man. I agree with you. I think they've done a really nice job. Now it'll be an interesting matchup to see how this Cardinals defense matches up against the Seahawks running game. But Kenneth Walker, I think, is an absolute stud. Didn't have necessarily the ton of yards this week, but was obviously super impactful with 2 touchdowns. I think he will continue to be a super impactful player. And then if the Cardinals, it could be close. It could be a very close game. The Cardinals have got to find a way to get Marvin Harrison Jr. going, and he's got to figure out what is going on. He has got to figure himself out as well. So I'm not going to drop any points. I'm just going to go Seahawks on the money line, going kind of against the home dog theme that's been going on in the season.
All right. Well, for me, look, Trey Benson's going to be stepping in there as the running back for the Cardinals. I like Trey Benson. I liked him last year. He didn't do a whole lot. There's been a lot of scuttlebutt about him being the next big thing there as far as running backs go in Arizona. I don't expect it to happen overnight, though. On a short week, getting the lion's share of work and having to figure that out in a couple days is going to be tough. This is going to be a battle of 2 good defenses and 1 good offense, in my opinion. And I think that's Seattle. I like what Seattle's doing. I do expect Sam Darnold to throw a pick in this game. but I think that they're going to be better offensively. And I like that Seattle defense. I am actually dropping the points here. I was surprised that the spread was as close as it was. I think Seattle's at least a 3-point team in this matchup. So I am going Seattle minus the 1.5, riding high with the Seahawks on this one.
All right. So there we go. Listen, man, I need to do something because let me just make sure. Oh, no, I did. I hit the first week Thursday night game. All right, the first week's opening game because the under somehow miraculously fucking hit.
Yep. And we both failed last week.
Yeah.
On our Thursday night game, Washington Green Bay. Week 2 we failed. Week 3.
Week 3 you got it. You hit the money line.
Yeah. All right. But that's it, Mike. I believe that's it for our show tonight.
All right, man. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody who tuned in with us tonight. Guys, time is the most valuable thing that you have. So anytime you give some of it to us, we are forever grateful. I am Mike. That is Evo. We're going to get the fuck out of here. Before we do that, I'm going to give him one last word.
ABC, CBS, Fox, I don't give a fuck. Put whoever you want on TV. Get upset about it if you want. You just kind of look foolish. But I will say Jimmy Kimmel hasn't been funny since the Man Show. That's it for me.
All right. You heard it here, guys. This is Raw Dawg Sports. I'm Mike. That's Evo. We're getting the fuck out of here. See you.